My mom was like, we named him Silas Martin Dudley. We named him after you, Grandpa, because his middle name was Martin. And all he said, he wasn't like, nice name or thank you, I'm honored. He's like, I always hated that name. Well, mankind always wants something bigger and better. I guess I'm no different. I wanted to design a new one because I was frankly fed up with the old ones. The ones that I've seen and had were just made as cheap as possible. I think that was the goal. Get a good profit margin, get something that people will buy without thinking about it. And I never really was satisfied with them, so I saw an opportunity. I thought I could do it better. I definitely cannot do it cheaper, but the goal of this cart is to do it right, use the best materials, and get good craftsmen involved, and that's where it came from. Kind of mirrored what you see in a sled, but yet it has tires on it. The deflectors and all that, if you look, it's almost boat shaped. You know, if you kind of look at a man's shoulders, what he can kind of fit through that cart will kind of slice and come right in there behind you. You know, if you went another foot wider, you would be in major trouble. You're going through stuff that your cart can't fit. But inside of that, there's a fender that goes on the outside of our tire, a frame on the inside of each one, and the axle is a 1/2-inch stainless steel bolt that goes between the two. And you look, you'll actually notice the cross members that hold your load are lower than that axle. And so that allows your load, your deer back, to sink down in there as low as possible. It just makes it a whole lot more stable. One of my big pet peeves is all the carts I've had in the past, the tires will hang outside of the frame. They got the frame like that, it comes down, and wherever your axle comes out, that tire just kind of hangs out there, and it creates a gap in there. So vines, saplings, everything in the woods just seems to run and get in that crack. And I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been coming down the side of a hill or something, and a sapling, you know, it'll only be about 1 inch around, but you aren't gonna break it over. And you come down there, you got that 175-pound buck on there, and just boom, it hangs up on that thing, it'll about break your back. And then you have to try to roll the cart back uphill to get it unstuck, or take your saw and saw it off. It's real annoying. So to beat that, I put these deflectors on the front and rear. It almost parts the woods around the cart, and it just significantly reduces your chance that something's gonna hang in there and just stop you cold in your tracks. A lot of your cheaper carts that they'll advertise them as lightweight and fold out and all this stuff, but they're really little tiny things, and you can't get that far away. They make them so compact, the handle point is so close to the pivot point in the tire that it makes it almost impossible to balance your load. You know, you move that thing forward 3 inches or back 3 inches. The handle's either trying to lift up and you're trying to fight it down, or it just weighs 1,000,000 pounds. Well, with our cart at Gray Fox, we extend that handle way out there. We give you plenty of room. The cart's not up in your heels. It's very easy to move that load if you have to and get it balanced, where that handle out there from the tire is just, it's almost weightless. That allows you just to really get comfortable. So if you're covering any kind of distance, that stuff makes a huge difference. And our cart really just nails that. And the classic design is the old V. You know, some of them fold out, some of them don't, but they V it like that. They don't have anything to keep the load or an animal off of the tire. We beat that by having sides, keep all the feet of critters out of your tires, or if its back scrunches up, if rigor mortis hadn't set in, those things will tend to go down and want to taco up on you and stick their back in the tire. Well, that won't happen with our design because of the solid walls on it. Also, that wall comes up above the tires, so if you have something larger, like a cooler, a big tree stand, maybe your kayak, it'll actually float over the tires. Noise is a big issue to me. I mean, I can't stand it. I'm using my cart to do hanging hunts a lot of times. It's the first time you're bringing your stand to that area. I feel like a lot of deer I kill are really close to where I set up. You know, I hunt a lot of public land. These things aren't moving real far, and a noisy cart drives me nuts. We tried to fight everything that we could to make this cart quiet. We provide just tons of strapping points on it, so you can get ratchet straps and really crank on it, squeeze that load to keep the rattle down. We put thrust bearings on each side of our wheels so we can compress that wheel on that axle and keep it from chattering to death. And then we put springs on our safety pins to keep them from chattering. We really try to make sure you can stay quiet. How much weight can you put in that cart? That thing looks fancy, you know. And I'm like, well, the tires are rated for 330 pounds a piece. Let's start there. Let's add them up. You get 660. It would probably actually be more than that because you add both of them in together. A man can't pull anything that's 660 pounds and live to tell about it. Maybe you can, maybe some guys, but I mean, dude, I've stacked that thing up with fertilizer and corn bags to well over 400 pounds, thrown buddies on it, pulled it up on its side, snatched it around, thrown it in the water. Under normal use, this thing can take more than you can. Did I mention it floats? Finally, a game cart done right. No, for real, it's the best one. For real. There ain't nowhere close in price, I know, but it's the best one.
Promise?
For sure.